So today I'll be teaching about the Native American game called Pa Suhu Huwak, which was a sport like soccer, but a lot more intense. The history dates back to about anywhere between the Inca period to the Aztec, and tribes that played it were either the Powhatan or the Algonquin tribes. The field was originally a half-mile long to a mile long, and it was done on a beach. There was usually 500 to 1,000 members playing at one time. The translation for the game is the game they played with their feet. And the game's basic rules were if you were to make a goal, you'd have to use your knees, your hips, or your elbows. So to do that, in this version, we'll be catching the ball and then aiming with either our knee, hip, or elbows. So first, we should probably stretch out our quads, our everything. So do this first for 10 seconds. In the original game, they would use a leather ball, kind of like the workout balls, those 5-pound leather balls. That's what they would typically use. So a lot of injuries were actually happening when shooting with like an elbow, because they didn't use any protective gear, lunges, for any of it. So a lot of the time they would wear war paint to disguise themselves, because after the game, both tribes would come together and have a big feast. So disguise was meant to make sure no one did foul play after the game due to unsportsmanlike. The game was a huge honor for its players. A lot of things were determined with teamwork and just getting out of the game with no scratches, no bruises, being the toughest warrior on the field. And so, the game never scored high in the game just because of what it was and how they scored. Originally, they would use, the Aztecs would use a ring on the side of a wall that was 30 meters up. So it's pretty high to get up there. Only the most agile warriors could have made it. And so we're going to use the hoop today to represent that. So the first one, we'll just have to simply experience how hard the game could have been, because there was 500 players on the field, there was a lot of defenders. So first thing is trying to make a knee shot. So just line yourself up and just try to make it up there. Come right here. Go for it. As you can see, the Warriors had a really hard time just getting the ball up most of the time. And then the next shot, which was using their hips, would have been the hardest shot for them, just because that shot is probably not made at all. We're gonna keep going. The elbow shot is probably a teammate would have kicked it to them, and they would try pushing it up with their elbows. So John just lightly tossed me the ball, and then I can try shooting it up there. All right. Ready? Yeah. Yeah. That'd be a hard shot.
That's really hard.
The native culture, if you made the shot in the native culture, you got a lot of jewelry from the hierarchs. You got a lot of praise in the community, and you were almost guaranteed into like a higher position. So the sport had a lot of way down from the games. So all the native boys would want to compete in this. And the sport was just like a cruel type of game because there was no rules that would prohibit me or John from taking each other out for the game. Now, a lot of tribes would actually end up with broken knees, legs, arms, because for 1,000 players on the field to be going, no one's watching over anyone else. So there were some people that would be trampled, some players that would just injure and never play again. So, like how it relates to soccer is it's a game played with their feet, and well, our soccer rules have a lot more safety in them. So I think that's why we don't play this native game, because it would just be a blood fest. And that's basically all I can tell you about.
Would you say that the players that played this game could be related to the like major sports figures of our time right now for the kids that grew up watching this?
Yes. Like when the Europeans traveled over and they had their game like rugby, Native Americans could have played that game really well with the colonists. And when they brought soccer over, Native Americans typically were really good at it. So I think there is some descendant bloodlines which have influenced the game. And I think that's how soccer has gotten some of its rules from. It's actually from the native game. That's so cool. Cool guy.
Yep.